Nothing like this game.
And good evening to you and yours. It is the All About the Birds post-game show, the recap show. The Eagles demolish Dallas in Big D, as Johnny ever so nicely put. I am Chip at Chip for the Birds, joined as always by Mike Bauer. He over there. He's over there. And Johnny is desperately trying to get his kid to sleep so he can come and gloat with us. But my, oh my, what a wonderful day. There is plenty of sunshine headed our way. I thoroughly enjoyed today's game, Mike. How about you?
Oh, yeah, I loved it. Watching it with my wife and little girl, so getting her into football more. You know, I love saying the team wearing white is the bad team this week. The team with the star on their helmet, so she's getting it. She's 5. Yeah, it was a great game. I think we need to talk. Can we start it off and talk about Cooper DeJean?
We can talk about literally whatever you want because it was such a good game. Let's talk about Cooper DeJean.
This is why Vic Fangio was an important hire. Vic Fangio has the clout and the experience as an NFL coordinator that when he goes to Nick Sirianni and says, I want to play Cooper DeJean, Nick Sirianni has no choice but to go, okay. We've seen in the past hesitancy by the head coach. I don't know necessarily if it was the head coach, if it was Nick or if it was someone else, to not play rookies. But the fact that Quignon's out there, oh my God, Quignon's going to be a perennial all-pro throughout his career. You got Cooper DeJean out there.
Definitely good.
The sure tackling of Cooper is just fantastic. Tonight, do you know how many targets CeeDee Lamb had? With most of those targets being on Cooper, by the way.
I'm going to say 4.
10 targets.
Wow.
CeeDee Lamb finished with 6 receptions for 21 yards. One of those targets should have been a touchdown, but Jerry Jones hates his own football team and put that god-awful – well, I think he calls it – if memory serves me correctly, he calls it God's eyes, so God could stare down and look at his favorite football team. Well, the sun was shining.
You do not – listen, one thing we're not going to do on this show – okay, and I want to make this very clear, is blaspheme my very favorite Eagle, Jerry Jones. We are not going to sit here and blaspheme my very favorite Eagle these days, Jerry Jones. Continue.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, just looking at this roster he assembled, and this could have been a completely different game had Dak Prescott played, although in all fairness, Dak Prescott hasn't been the same Dak Prescott that we've seen.
Mike, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true because look, Cooper Rush and Trey Lance are clearly not good quarterbacks. I mean, that was obvious in the way that the Eagles defense was flying around the ball, but they were so committed to continuing to run the ball even late into the game that the difference that Dak Prescott brings is the play action pass. But the Eagles, for the most part, shut down the Dallas run game, which would have forced Dak Prescott to be a throwing quarterback, and he just doesn't have the weapons this year. So I don't know if it would have been a drastically different game.
I will say the Cowboys did have 97 yards rushing, which is more than what I thought, but it was extremely inconsequential in the grand scheme of the game.
Weren't like 20 of them Trey Lance's?
He had 17 yards. So if you take that out, and Cooper Rush did have 2 yards rushing, but for
his life, yes, he sure did.
Yeah. I really love the way the defense played. Bryce Huff did something that wasn't just him being useless.
Bryce Huff blew up Cooper Rush.
5 takeaways today. One of those was an interception by, I believe, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, correct?
It was
Yes.
off of Trey Lance at the end to super seal the game.
It was just a great – and hats off to C.J. Gardner-Johnson with a really good open field tackle to start the game. The Cowboys really wanted to keep – they saw something in their scout of the Eagles defense. If you look at the way that they played this game, they kept everything either behind or very close to the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
I think they thought they could exploit something. Darius Slay did exit the game with a re-injury, I'm assuming, at some point. Isaiah Rodgers held it down pretty good. But this team, all of a sudden, after the bye week, has learned how to tackle. Nakobe Dean should have had an interception as well, by the way.
Well, and so let's really talk about that, because going into these last couple games, we were the worst tackling team in football, and we saw it last year, and we saw it again at the beginning of this season. Now, all of a sudden, I mean, to watch Cooper DeJean open field tackle CeeDee Lamb, to watch Zach Bond making open field tackles, to watch all of these players really step up. I mean, it was defensively, it's I think our third game this season without allowing a touchdown.
I believe so, yes.
I mean, this is the definition of a bend don't break situation.
Yeah, the Browns game, that was a special teams touchdown.
Correct.
That was allowed. So the defense didn't technically allow
right. So if you look, I really like that the defense is coming together as quick as it is. You've seen now that Vic Fangio really is that guy, and he kind of put his foot down about, no, these are the guys that I'm going to play. Like, Cooper DeJean is going to play. And it was funny, I only noticed Avonte Maddox on the field for one snap, and I ended up eyeballing him the entire time, and he got beat off the line. Now, it happened to be that the play went nowhere near him. But again, you're starting to see Fangio hone in on his guys, and they are the right guys. I mean, Milton Williams had a huge game. Zach Bond.
I love Milton.
We're getting to the point with Zach Bond where we need to talk extensions.
I agree.
He's going to be a Pro Bowler this year.
Yeah, and he rightfully should be too. Another guy that just swarms to the ball, doesn't take a play off, is very smart, very good in coverage as well. I'm extremely impressed by what this defense did. And it was against Cooper Rush, blah, blah, blah. But we've seen the Eagles lose the backup quarterbacks before. So they came in prepared. They executed their game plan defensively. Unfortunately, on the offensive side of the ball, Jalen Hurts did turn the ball over twice. But
still. All right, so let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
The interception in the red zone was bad.
Great play by Trayvon Diggs, in all fairness. Fantastic
play by Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
But it was, to me, it was Jalen Hurts trying to force the ball to Dallas Goedert. Like, he broke the huddle. He broke the huddle with the mindset of, I am throwing this ball to Dallas Goedert because Dallas Goedert is back. And I'm almost wondering, and this could be a complete messy take that holds no truth whatsoever, but I'm willing to float it out there. Do the 5 sacks that Jalen Hurts had in the first half, which were all a result of holding onto the ball entirely too long, is it a result of him trying to forcibly incorporate Dallas Goedert back into the offense? I would be curious. I would be curious to look and see if on those 5 sacks, especially the ones where he held the ball for longer than 3 to 4 seconds, how much of that was him trying to wait for Dallas Goedert to break open. Because in the second half, in the third quarter when he was playing, the ball was getting out very, very quickly once again, which was the right thing. So maybe that's a completely sloppy, messy take. Maybe it's an irresponsible take. Maybe it's my blinders are on towards us not necessarily needing Dallas Goedert. But I wonder, because you haven't seen that kind of holding on to the ball at that level in the weeks that Dallas Goedert wasn't playing.
Yeah, it's a very good possibility. I mean, they do have a good connection with each other. Maybe that was his way of wanting to try to reacclimate him back into the offense. But he's a high-end tight end. He will get open. You don't need to force it to him. And,
especially if you just looked a little more left.
Yeah, I agree. But the fact of the matter is, we won. The Cowboys lost.
We sure did.
And the Commanders lost too, which means we're in first place in the division. Yeah,
I want to talk about something as far as positives go, because 1 week ago we sat on this panel and absolutely obliterated Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
He did not do anything stupid today.
No, he didn't. I thought he did everything that they needed to do, took field goals when they were there, just kicked the PATs. I loved it.
Got the starters out at a respectable early time so that they can be ready for the quick turnaround window. Even on the 4th and 1 at the end of the game, he could have kicked the field goal there as an attempt to add more points. He could have also tried to run the ball. He went, you know what? I'm going to be a little ballsy. I'm going to call the brotherly shove with Kenny Pickett.
Fine with it. Completely fine with it.
Loved it.
Yeah. I mean, because you just, at that point, you don't want anything stupid to happen. Let's keep the offense on the field. Let's take the knee. Let's run the clock out. Let's do what we got to do. And that's what they did. And I'm fine with doing that there when the game was pretty much in hand.
The game, listen, the first half was not great.
No.
The first half was not great. I mean, it just wasn't. They did the job. They had a couple turnovers. I mean, the fumble was bad. It could have been worse had Saquon's arm not gotten out from under the scrum. That could have been season ending had he hyperextended his elbow or done whatever it was that it looked like he was about to do.
Yeah.
Fred Johnson did not look good against Micah Parsons.
Well, it's Micah Parsons, so
it's Micah Parsons. I'm excited that we may be getting Jordan Mailata back on Thursday night. Fred Johnson has done a very good job, but he is no Jordan Mailata.
Let's give Fred Johnson some flowers here, but I'm also looking forward to Micah Parsons being an Eagle next year too. So it's my hot take of the offseason right there.
It just look. I mean, it was. Things I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen them get more success with Saquon running the ball. I would have liked to have seen them get Devontae Smith acclimated more into the offense today. You know, again, very low catch totals, very low target totals. I would have liked to have seen Jalen get rid of the ball a little quicker. But again, when all is said and done, this team looked at a very bad, beaten up Dallas team and said, especially in the second half, that's it. We're done toying with you.
Good.
And they slapped them silly.
It should be. Yeah. And, we're seeing right now the Giants are not a threat. The Cowboys are not a threat to us. We got to come out and beat the Commanders on Thursday, man. And I've been a vocal.
Yeah, that's our game of the year right now.
I've been a vocal opposition of Thursday night football games. I don't think you get a very good, you don't get a good, result here when you see that you don't get a good, whatever you want to call it on Thursday nights mostly. This team's not going to get back in until after 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. I don't like it. Were the Commanders at home today? The Commanders were at home. So they
were at home against the Steelers, and they lost a battle. Here's the positives about this, though. Number one, it is a marquee matchup. Yeah. It is a Thursday night marquee matchup, which I think the viewership for that game is going to be very high.
I agree.
And we really get to see two teams that are currently the class of the NFC and really see who's who and what's what. Number two, because we had such an early bye week, I do like the built-in extra couple of day break.
That'll be nice.
You know what I mean? So 2 games in 4 days is definitely rough, but then to have the much longer layoff, I can rock with it.
And if you recall, we were talking about this was going to be getting into the tough part of our schedule here. Obviously,
that's kind of my point.
When we talked about that, Dak Prescott was at full health, so we kind of envisioned that this game could have went differently. But you got the Commanders coming up, then you got a couple days off. You travel. You got a Sunday night game against the Rams, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go to Baltimore. Not going to be an easy game. Mm-hmm. But then you got the Panthers. But that could be a trap game because after that you have the Steelers. Then you finish it out again, the Commanders, Cowboys, and you do have a bye week in Week 18 with the Giants. So it's just really interesting to see how things are going to transpire the next couple weeks.
But what's very cool about that schedule is, yes, we play the Commanders we play them at home on Thursday. We travel to the Rams. We travel to Baltimore. Home against, then our schedule, it's home Panthers, home Pittsburgh, short travel to Commanders, home.
Not a lot of traveling after LA.
Not a lot of traveling after LA, because even Baltimore is not really a travel per se. It's a ride down the road.
It's a bus trip. It's a short bus ride. So it's not bad.
It's the schedule. Look, we're definitely getting into the nitty gritty part of our schedule. I think that Rams game could be interesting. We've got 3 really tough games in a row. And right now, knock on wood, we are remarkably healthy. We're starting to click at certain aspects. I think the mistakes, what I liked about Jalen's mistakes is he quickly recovered from them. People look at his demeanor on the sidelines and they say, oh, well, he doesn't show any emotion. Blah, blah, blah. Okay,
that's
but you know what?
He
also doesn't show any emotion and he bounced right back from it.
But that's just the type of guy that he is. He's not.
Right, I'm not looking for the big show. I'm not looking for a Deebo Samuel who chokes out members of his own team on the sideline.
Oh, man. I don't know what this guy's thinking. Honestly, what are you doing, dude? Come on.
My favorite was Shanahan saying, "Oh, well, that's what brothers do sometimes." Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but most brothers aren't millionaires at the same point in time. But going back to the game here and not foreshadowing the schedule too much, I thought the run defense was good. There was a few longer runs. Rico Dowdle ripped off a 19-yarder, but that was pretty much it. Rico Dowdle, not a bad back. But all of the Cowboys' poor offseason decisions coming back to haunt them, waited too long to extend Dak, waited too long to extend CeeDee Lamb, didn't really address the running game.
No, not really. Didn't address the running game.
At all.
And you cannot say that signing Ezekiel Elliott is addressing the run game.
They also have Dalvin Cook on the roster, but he did not play at all.
Nope.
And they didn't really give Dak a really good number 2 wide receiver aside from CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Tolbert is a nice 3. Brandon Cooks is on IR. He should be, for all intents and purposes, done at this point in his career. They traded for Jonathan Mingo this week, who did not play. So there's a lot of question marks.
They overpaid for Jonathan Mingo this week.
They did. And honestly, this could be a teardown situation after this year. I don't think Mike McCarthy escapes the season as the head coach.
But here's my question about that. So how can it be a teardown situation when you have your quarterback of the future, you have your running back, or not your running back, your wide receiver of the future, and you have potentially your defensive linebacker, edge rusher of the future if Micah Parsons doesn't go anywhere? How can you really say that it's a teardown?
We can call it a retool then.
Well, they're definitely tools. 100% tools.
That's for sure.
Here's my question as Johnny looks like he's about to hop in and he'll be able to. Yes. Hey, buddy.
There he is.
Hello.
So I'm going to ask a question right now, and I'm curious to know which one you think happens first.
Okay.
And this is all Cowboy related. Which happens first? Dak Prescott officially puts himself on season-ending injured reserve because his team sucks so bad this year, or Mike McCarthy gets fired?
I think Dak on IR.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that as well. I believe they saw on the broadcast, or said on the broadcast, that he's going to see a specialist in New York this week.
Tomorrow, yeah.
That's why he has not been put on IR yet. But still, there's no chance he's going to play again. I mean, this is a partial tear of his hamstring.
And why would you want to play on this team right now?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So
you'd
love to see it.
I'll give you my thoughts of the game since I missed the beginning for you guys. Dominating performance. Now, we all knew Dak Prescott wasn't going to be there. They're kind of undermanned. Left tackle Tyler Guyton was out. But that's fine because there were points in last season and in seasons past where the Eagles go up against a lesser quarterback, a lesser team, play down to that team, and they let the offense of that team kind of expose them and put up points, and that didn't happen. The Eagles, it's just the difference and the big-time difference, and we talked about this. It's the linebacker play. When you have a guy like Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean and the way they're attacking players and not missing tackles like they were earlier in the year, they're making tackles, and you see everyone else flowing to the ball, and it's just something that we talked about, Chip, was this defense is one. It's starting to, I think, feel comfortable in this scheme, and they are trusting each other, and they're playing with each other, and that's huge. When you take a look, listen, 146 total yards allowed, 5 turnovers. The defense is playing out of its mind. They're most likely, the defense is going to probably right now they're third in total defense in yards allowed. They're probably going to be maybe number 1 after this week, depending on everything else. But they're playing at just another level. And of course, they have a tough team coming up on Thursday. But I thought it was awesome. I saw Kenny Pickett come in there, and it's like, okay, good. You can rest the guys. It's it's great. Like Jalen started off, he struggled. I think a little bit, and I texted Bauer about it. I think the sun had to do a little bit because it was affecting both guys. The sun is literally right in your eyes, and that touchdown,
for sure.
that interception in the end zone for Diggs. If you take a look at the way that sun is shining, you can't really see Diggs until the last second. So him throwing it in there, unfortunately, it was a spectacular play made by Diggs. But Jalen, he was holding on the ball a little too long. I don't know if the sun had to affect because it seemed he was holding on to the ball when they switched fields, and the sun was right in their eyes.
So I brought something up, and I said it to Mike, and then I'm going to kind of say it again and see your take on it. To me, and again, this could be a lot of different things. This could be me trying to force my own narrative. I don't know. But could the holding of the ball too long been a result of him trying and forcing Dallas Goedert to become part of the offense again? Because in the previous weeks when Dallas Goedert wasn't playing, he wasn't holding the ball this long. And in the second half when he was kind of just like, screw it, he didn't hold the ball that long. But I'd be curious to look and see the routes and the coverage that Dallas Goedert was facing on the 5 sacks that he took.
I wouldn't say necessarily he was holding it for that. I think the aspect of the offense and trying to see if someone will wiggle their way open, because the way Dallas was kind of playing, they were taking away the run game. They were playing a lot of 8 in the box. They were playing a lot of guys down, and they were blitzing. So there was a lot there. Some of the stuff he should have threw away. But if you took a look, I think some of the stuff that you can take away and be very positive and mindful of when you're taking a look at Jalen in this game was, 70% completion percentage, which is great. Mm-hmm. He was moving around, hit Dotson. Johnny Wilson in the end zone after it took him some time.
We didn't even talk about Johnny Wilson, Mike.
The Goddard touchdown. He went out, rolled out, found Goddard in the end zone there. Devontae only had 2 catches, 14 yards. Yep. And then AJ had a good game, 5 for 109, had that real nice long catch. But, it wasn't like again, he only played basically, he played 1 series in the fourth quarter. So he only had 20 pass attempts. And at that point, it was already basically the game was over. Let's sit everybody down. And, we've seen that. We saw that a ton in 2022 where a few games that they did that. And a stat that I saw was pretty interesting and pretty cool. It's from Ruben Frank. He always has the fun, neat, quirky stats. But this was awesome. The first time since 1949 the Eagles have had 3 consecutive road wins of over 20 points.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you think about it, you had the Giants, Cincinnati, and Dallas. Those are the last 3 road games.
And to give the guy his flowers, the drive that Jalen Hurts executed at the end of the first half, was exceptional.
Oh yeah,
I think that the way that they phrased it was 82 yards in 85 seconds or something 82 yards in 85 seconds. It was a beautiful drive.
So I want to pose something to Bauer here because I talked to you a little bit about it on Wednesday, but I want to pose it to him. Would you put right now, looking at it, into the conversation? Would you put Jalen Hurts in the MVP conversation? I know it's hard because Lamar's playing outrageously well. But as like the top 4, I said that in top 4, I saw Jalen was up there, rising up the ranks.
I think it has to be put into consideration because MVP should be more than just statistics, pardon me. It's what are you doing for your team? How are you helping your team win? And I'd put him up there. Unfortunately, it'll probably still somehow be Patrick Mahomes because that's
Listen, Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback of a 9-0 football team.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. But when you're playing the Chiefs and the refs, it's hard. But that being said, he definitely should be, because he's not only is he doing it, with his brain and with his arm, but his legs look a lot better too. Which we had that late week ankle injury pop up.
Oh, that was a mess.
He didn't look like he had an ankle injury to me. I don't know what you guys think. He looked fine.
I think that when they chose to run him, it was the right time to run him. We don't know why we're getting some really good Facebook comments. We're not sure why the names aren't popping up. But I'm on the Facebook. So this is Michael Fenimore saying, love the Eagles win, but going forward, Jalen has stopped holding the balls too long. We agree. Take the short pass if it's there. And if there are fewer chances tonight, he could have not taken a sack. Yeah, agreed. Mike also said, I don't think so. That was in regards to my Dallas Goedert theory. He just wants the big play all the time. I don't necessarily know if he wants the big play all the time. I would like to see them continue to use the middle of the field, because as we've seen, the middle of the field gets you massive amounts of yardage. The middle of the field pass to A.J. Brown was one of the best plays of the day. And we got Adam checking in. I don't care who was in there, a quarterback that would have smashed him. Agreed. And Adam would like to know, Mr. Bowers, are you on board now with Jalen Hurts?
Yes, I am on board. I've been on board for some time now.
Listen, I thought that the game was. Yes, I know. I thought the game was very, very impressive. To your MVP conversation,
Hold on, I have something else to throw in there before you. So also, Rob Motti had tweeted this, and it says the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, became the first player in NFL history with a touchdown pass, a rushing touchdown, and a passer rating of 100 or higher in 4 consecutive games.
Yeah. Statistically, he's having a great year. But
before we move on, Chip, do you want the odds, the top 5 or whatever?
Yes, give me the top 5, because I have a couple thoughts here.
All right, and this is as of, I don't know, whatever. Lamar Jackson is 1. Josh Allen is 2. Patrick Mahomes is 3. Jared Goff is 4. And hey, rightfully so, Jared Goff playing some damn good football. I really don't want to see the Lions in the playoffs. Then after that, Jaden Daniels. And then after that, Jalen Hurts.
So that's what I was going to say.
Then after that, Dexter Lawrence.
Sure. So that's what I was going to say. So
he's done.
I really think that Jalen Hurts has been playing a really good season. I think if he were somehow to lose Saquon Barkley, he would struggle significantly. Where it's tough, because I think that Saquon Barkley could also be in the conversation for MVP, because he is having such a dominant year. Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback of a 9-0 football team. Jared Goff, I don't think, deserves to win the MVP because he has the extreme running back weapons that he does. But at the same time, he's the quarterback of the number 1 seed Detroit Lions right now. I could see it being Lamar, but I really could see it being Jaden Daniels, simply for the fact you look at what has been the turnaround of that team so far, and it can be quickly attributed to Jaden Daniels playing quarterback for that team. And therefore, Daniel Quinn also being the coach of the year.
It's a good possibility.
I'm going to disagree with you on the fact, the Jaden Daniels thing. Like, this isn't Kurt Warner.
He's runaway rookie of the year. We know that.
I would agree.
This isn't like a rookie quarterback like a Kurt Warner going and winning MVP. I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to win MVP or even come close, just because he's not having an outrageous stat type. Yeah, I understand they're
agreed.
Team. The rookie of the year, it's his. Nobody else is going to beat him on that, in my opinion. Turn that franchise around. It looks like this is what happened. Like, Dallas Cowboys have taken that step down, and now the Commanders are the ones that are fighting with the Eagles to get that division title. And it looks like that could be this could be the downspin of the Dallas Cowboys, especially with what you saw. And really, it isn't really because Dak's hurt. Just take a look at their team and roster as a whole. They have couple high-priced guys in a CeeDee Lamb, a Dak Prescott. They're going to have to pay a Micah Parsons or maybe trade him to get more draft capital to be able.
He's coming here.
That would be good to see. I would love to see that.
Speaking into existence.
Like for me, they've got a couple in Trevon Diggs. They have a couple high-priced guys. Otherwise, other than that, they've got a lot of young guys who, they have a lot of not so good football players.
They're a bad football team.
Yeah. They didn't do anything off season. We knew that. You weren't going to just take young guys and be good. It wasn't going to happen.
And this is Michael again saying, guys, it's great last 5 games and the wins. But remember, all those teams are below average. Let's see Thursday what they got with a short week and a good team. Mike, the only thing that I would say to you is you can't control who's on your schedule. And typically this Eagles team in the past has played down to the level of their opponent, making it a lot closer. This is the first time in almost 2 years where they are running through teams regardless of what's across the way from them. They are finally not allowing themselves to get beat by themselves.
And newsflash here too. Do you know who the highest rated Eagle was today?
Cooper DeJean.
Wrong. Out of the top 5 Eagles. So here we go. Top 5 Eagles. Number 5 was Nolan Smith.
Okay,
4,
great.
Jordan Davis.
He looked good.
Good.
3, Zach Bond, as you mentioned.
Yep.
2, AJ Brown, which we saw that. Number 1, Bryce Huff.
Listen, that strip sack was beautiful.
It was.
It's fantastic. It's
I'm actually surprised Milton Williams wasn't in the top 5.
No, he wasn't. But listen, a lot of defenders and a lot of young defenders.
Also, speaking of which, it was nice to see Jalix Hunt and Moro Ojimo.
Ooh, yeah.
Jalix Hunt with the tip pass, Laura Ojimo blowing up a play in the backfield.
Yeah.
These are guys that I'm not going to say they're going to be high-end contributors in the long run, but if they're contributors in any aspect, and Ojimo was a late-round pick, I believe, right?
Yeah, and this is the way I look at it, Mike. When you take a look at these guys being able to put together, like when you take a look at the early Andy Reid defenses or Jim Johnson defenses, Andy Reid led teams, and you take a look at some of these guys who weren't stars, but they were guys that helped. And a guy like Paul Grassmanis, a guy like Darwin Walker, a Mike Caldwell, a Damon Moore. There were guys on that team that, they weren't heralded stars, but they were guys that, made a play here and there. And they were, even one of our buddies here, Hollis Thomas. He was an absolute run stuffer, and he was a huge focal point in the Eagles defenses. And he was an undrafted free agent out of Northern Illinois. So just because you're a late round pick or an undrafted guy doesn't mean that you can't put together a solid NFL career. And Moro Ojimo, and the funny thing with Moro Ojimo is he's young. I think he just turned 22.
And find out.
He has a lot of potential. He's got really good pass rush, but he's starting to kind of, start to put together. But the interior of that defense, and listen, I said it early in the year. I said I wanted a veteran in the inside of that defense because there were so many young guys. But they proved me wrong because Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Moro Ojimo, they've played really well when they've been asked to. So, you can't ask for anything more than that.
Ojimo was 23, by the way.
Okay.
Close enough.
Johnny, you got to go into the Ulecka lock results and the score prediction results because I need to know how we did.
So the Ulecka locks for this week, you had Pittsburgh beating Washington, which did happen. I was kind of scared because early in the game, Mike Tomlin with the most boneheaded thing that I've seen, a 4th and 15 going for it.
It was
boneheaded.
Absolutely. Had it worked, it would have been ballsy. It should have worked, but it turned out to be boneheaded.
Yeah, especially with the way the Pittsburgh defense played against Washington. They basically held them in check. And so, listen.
And I would have roasted Nick Sirianni for the same play. I would have torn him up alive. So, therefore, it was boneheaded.
We roasted him for the 2-point conversion, which, hey, Mike did text me too. He was like, oh, look, we're finally taking the points.
Look at that.
Listen, they could have went for it if they wanted, but listen, they got the points, which is fine. I had Saquon 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns. That did not happen. So, unfortunately, no. But it is what it is there. So, but the predictions, we both had the Eagles winning. I had it 27-16. You had it 35-10. So you were pretty close.
I had a modest 35-10, if you recall.
A modest. That is you're very right there. That is.
I was actually really close.
No, you were really close because it was 34-6. So 35-10 ain't far off. But I like I like those kind of scores. But hey,
it was an enjoyable game. What have I been saying? Give me games that I can enjoy.
I agree with you. Cooper Rush now has 2 career losses when he's starting, and that is both to the Eagles.
So,
yeah. And Trey Lance is going to get a lot of looks the rest of the season.
I'm not so sure. He looked like absolute trash.
Oh, he's garbage.
And they trade a 4th-round pick for him.
Wait, the same 4th-round pick that they traded for Jonathan Mingo?
Yeah.
Do they just hate 4th-round picks?
Yeah, well, they're expected to get 4 compensatory picks, so for them, I guess it's just a throwaway for that. But whatever. I'm fine with their downfall. It's makes it better. It's funny because I got a text message from a Dallas fan who's a coworker, and the text I got was 5 sacks. And their defense, they were getting after it. Sure. And then I waited. Then when it was, I think like 28-6, I just texted to him, belt to ass. And then I got like a bunch of text messages of, he started saying,
we're missing these players.
Well, overrated. It's going to be a soft rebuild, blah, 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 blah. And all I did was just the goal clap emoji. I said,
there it is.
Enjoy your night. I said, maybe now you can watch the Lakers.
So. Yeah, because the Yankees are off the air now.
Exactly. He's a Yankees. Listen, a Yankees fan, a Cowboys fan, Lakers fan, and a Michigan fan.
Oh, he's literally the worst of the worst.
Yeah, exactly. But
oh my God.
Yeah, but Eagles get the win. Chip and I will be back on Wednesday night to discuss. Well, we'll have probably a lot of information because the game will be on Thursday. So
we'll have a ton of information.
It's going to be a ton of information to break down this pivotal divisional matchup that's going to be in Philadelphia.
The game of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And it's going to be a tough to go because that last Thursday game with the Bengals and Ravens was one hell of a game. So, back-to-back here, 2 divisional games. It's going to be great. But, we'll be here to break it down. Chip and I will be talking all Eagles. And, maybe we'll have a guest. Maybe we won't. Maybe Bauer will join us. You have to wait and see. So, Facebook user, great show. You got to tell us
that's probably Michael is my guess. Hold on, let me go back on and check. For some reason, it's not being super explicit. I don't know why, but again, we're making it work. Yes, it was Michael. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you, Michael.
Yes, thanks, Mike. But again, make sure you're following us. All the Twitter, Instagram, YouTube things are all at the bottom. So make sure that
TikTok.
Yeah, well, I didn't have enough spaces for that. TikTok, same thing. But yeah, so that's what we have, and the way we always end it.
How about them boys? Nah. Go Birds.
Dallas sucks.
Dallas sucks. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
This is Matt Ware. Hey, for all the Eagle content you need, go follow All About the Birds. They do a damn thing. Check them out.
Hey, Eagles fans. I may be in Tampa, but I know where to find the best Eagles content out there. Check out my friends at All About the Birds.
Philadelphia, what's up? This your boy Freddie Mitchell, a.k.a. Fred X. It's all about the bird.
All birds all the time. All birds all the time.
All About the Birds provides you with weekly analysis, game recaps, informative interviews, and it's all birds all the time.